Hello and welcome to another Dev Chat. I am CCP Monty, and I'm joined today by CCP Eclipse and CCP Havran. How are you guys doing?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing
Hi.
great.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. And there's a good reason for that. We have an update coming out today. People that are listening to this have probably already seen it, but some of the most requested features that were kind of missing from the Legion expansion initially when it comes to the freelance job. So we're going to discuss all of that and go through just, what's going on in that part of the game. So let's just dive in. Maybe just kicking off with you, Havran. Tell us a little bit about the major things in the update today. The delivered.
Yes, the Deliveries update. So basically, we are adding a new type of contribution method for freelance jobs, which is just called Deliver. This contribution method is already present in corporation projects, and it's the most used contribution method in corporation projects. So we are just finishing or adding on top of the freelance jobs that we have released with Legion, and putting in a new method, Deliver Item, where corporations can issue delivery jobs, and freelancers can then accept the delivery jobs and then deliver items or item groups to the corporations.
I mean, it was discussed when we first saw the freelance job that this was a very obvious thing that was missing. People were setting up mining jobs and such, but the ore was not being delivered to the correct place.
Yes.
But with the design essentially just being out of scope for the update day, this was always planned as a quick release afterwards, right?
Yes, absolutely. We wish we could have released it with the expansion, but there are a lot of other considerations we need to take into account when we have this kind of a job. For the bulk of the other types of jobs that we have, we rely just on a single event that kind of indicates the contribution. But for this, we have the restraints of like somebody needs to access this item. We need to move it, and we need to make sure that the correct people have access as well, because we don't just want to drop it somewhere in space. That would be, yeah.
And that's the second part of the update. That's the new, essentially corporation hangar as such.
Yes.
Exactly.
So how this works is that players will deliver items straight to the project, or to the job rather, than a hangar. So freelancers that want to deliver items will open the actual job page in opportunities, and they can drag the item they want to deliver in a Dropbox, as it were, and then turn it in. This was done mostly because freelancers or people outside the corporation that have issued it don't have access to corporation hangars. So we have to create kind of a new paradigm of deliveries. And we have gone with this full UI way of delivering it. And once this happens, once the participants, freelancers, deliver this item, it gets moved to a new hangar that we call capsuleer deliveries. And from there, the corporation can pick it up. It can be a director or project manager can pick these items up.
So so there can be roles within that have a specific purpose in a larger kind of system or such, where somebody with a specific role on the corp can be kind of like managing the supplies or such that's coming in. So, for example, I'm running a station somewhere in that needs fuel or similar. I can have an open freelance job of just like, I'm essentially buying fuel for this price as long as you deliver it to the station.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need the CEO or the or something like that to actually be the one to just accept it and then use the items.
No, we are using, it's the project managers will have access to this as well. So it's a similar paradigm that we have in the corporation projects already.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Are we expecting to see a lot of new and emergent kind of ways to use these systems now?
Oh yeah, definitely. This is like by far the most requested contribution method
It
for
was
freelance.
a pretty obvious thing that was missing.
Yes.
Let's just not dwell on that.
Yeah. But just like the freelance, like the contribution methods that are already in the game, people have been pretty creative with them. So we're expecting a similar thing with the Deliver contribution method. And I'm really looking forward to what people can come up with.
I wouldn't mind stopping at that for a second, because it's actually something that we internally here saw a lot post Legion, that it was a true interest of just devs internally to be following these projects, to see what people were actually doing with them and how, and we saw a lot of screenshots and stuff being shared around of pretty intuitive ways of actually using it.
Sure.
Obviously, the funniest one is the killer CCP dev. We're coming for you. Don't worry. It's I don't like somebody being paid for killing me in space. That's but yeah, we've seen quite a few. I don't know if we have some of them. We can actually pull a few up and take a look, because there were some pretty cool ones, like this one here that we see now. Players were using this to make life easier for new players. They were doing it obviously just for content and for convenience. But like the one we have here of new players initiative, mine and low sec. New players should mine in low sec to access rare, more valuable ores and gas, are not available in high sec, offering higher potential profits and such. So this corp, the Mercantile Club Accounting Services, just literally creating a path for a player to go without needing to interact with NPC quest givers or such.
Yeah, exactly. So this was kind of the original idea behind freelance jobs, that we will facilitate the connection between corporations and potential recruits via freelance jobs. So as we just saw, the corporation put out a ship insurance freelance job, and they basically pay players ship insurance when they die in a specific ship, which makes the new player like them more because they're giving them free money, and that potentially leads to a connection and a new player that joins a corp.
And we've seen many of the biggest alliances grow from the new bro kind of corp vibe, where they are just getting people into cheap ships, let's just put it that way, that they can fly and enjoy and be part of content. And now we're seeing that at a more kind of maybe organized and smaller scale to participate.
Yeah. And it's really cool, I think, as well, just to have the ability, as like you're maybe a timid player, you're not maybe super confident, so having the chance to kind of interact in this kind of asocial way with somebody that's like in this kind of bigger universe in itself, I think that's really cool. It's really fun.
I think we can be pretty proud of the fact that in the EVE universe, it's not only kind of a path that it is designed. Sorry, I know game design should design a path, but we're literally giving people an opportunity to create other people's path as their path, basically. Yeah, and it just it's such an insane thing to think about, that whenever game design or development or whatever comes up with a new thing and they need to implement it, that they are always, they might be changing and fixing something for me, but it might completely have a different outcome for 9 other types of players that enjoy it, or even just my alt. It's like it's such an interesting world to try and like figure out how to balance. And I am glad I am not on that team. No, but with the freelance jobs, and I'm sure we have more to take a look at. I love the one that basically just urged people to go and die in a gate camp.
Yeah,
just rip that band-aid off. It sucks. I love the story that Helmar said, that the 10-year anniversary of EVE, when he was talking about the thorax that he lost, that he borrowed. And as the CTO, he still mined for weeks to make a new one for the person that he lost that thorax for. And that's exactly kind of what happens when you lose the first ship in EVE. It is a big moment. You don't really know what you can do or something like that. While those that have been there for a while, if I don't lose a ship each night, I'm kind of not playing,
Yeah.
But I really loved that kind of stuff that was coming from this. Yeah, and here we see one more. The Galante Federation Contest Freelance Job. Capture as many plaques as you can in frontline and command operation systems. And it was just like propaganda and everything, both from Minmatar and Galante on the faction warfare.
Yeah.
And I see both of you actually smile a lot when you see the stuff that people are
Yeah.
creating in the systems that you've been developing.
It's so fun.
Exactly. That's a freelance job that was created for the contest, basically, how many freelance factional warfare complexes you can capture. That's actually another way of showing how a freelance jobs can be used to just track progress of like different people. Because if you're in a corporation and you issue this job, you see in the participants' view all of the people that have joined and how much they have contributed. So it's a nice little leaderboard that's like great to see used like that.
If we look at this, what people have created, do you guys feel like from what they were giving initially, initially, that we've seen almost the full spectrum of what was possible, or is there quite a lot of things that game design was expecting to come out that hasn't, or something like that? Or?
I think we've seen probably most of what's possible for now. Obviously, as we're going to be adding more contribution methods, then we're expecting to see many more things popping up.
And let's just talk a little bit, it's not on the spot, this is coming, but more just like in general terms, like where's the vision for the freelance jobs? Like, is there something that we can expect? Can we expect updates on it throughout the year, or is it something that we, might be taking a look at in a year's time or 2 years' time, or are there already methods being tested that we want to look into? And I know that around all of this, Goalsmith was designed to be able to, which is an internal system, to give essentially game design the tools to inject new ways of completing missions and putting up parameters and such.
Yeah, definitely. Eclipse, maybe you can talk a little bit about Goalsmith and how it works.
Yeah. So the Goalsmith, it comes out of the need to kind of generalize this. We have for the corporation project, we have a lot of contribution methods. And each time when we have a contribution method, we need an engineer to find some sort of an action in the game. We need to define an action. That can be mining, it can be capturing a complex, it can be delivering an item, and so on. And then we need to emit that essentially, so we can tell our system what's happening when a player performs a action. And we thought, because we have a lot of these defined already, and assuming we have that, it would be nice for game designers to not need as much engineering support on this, to give them the freedom to kind of create.
Is that coming from the engineers, or is that coming from game design? Like, which one doesn't want more of it? No, I'm kidding.
I think it is I think
kind of both.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
It's just faster iteration as well.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just positive overall, really. It's also because we tend to work a bit in. I don't know. I think especially early in the cycle, game designers have a lot to do. There's so much to define. But when we come closer to release, they are more in a support role, and this kind of empowers them more to be able to do things in tandem, if that makes sense. We also have these defined, and you want to be able to use them in a good way. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. This is my first time on a podcast.
So basically, the TLDR
yeah.
is, as a player,
yeah.
I get more cool stuff in a shorter amount of time because game design has been able to test it and put it into and put it to use right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's basically what everybody that's listening cares about.
yeah, that's fair. I'm an engineer, so and
a lot of our I've noticed that throughout my years of playing EVE Online, that if I am on a team, I'm probably the least technical person on that team. So it feels a little bit like work. On that topic. Okay, but have we learned something from the freelance jobs that we want to change, or something that kind of was like a negative side or similar?
Yeah, like I assume you mean like any problems with freelance jobs.
Yeah.
That so there are a couple of things that have been raised by the community. The prime among them that has been raised many times is that when you go into air opportunities and you see freelance jobs, the list of freelance jobs, you can't really filter to see only the jobs that you can accept.
Yeah.
Because we have some conditional restrictions on freelance jobs. So, for example, some jobs can't be accepted by people of a certain character age.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I'm like a corporation is aiming only at new players that are a month or younger, then I see that, but I can't see that I can't accept it until I click on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we are definitely looking for a way to filter these out, so you don't have your freelance jobs list spammed with jobs that you can't even interact with.
We're gonna need a social media algorithm there in the end. It
Maybe.
just learns what you like, and
Cool.
yeah. And then you think that that's the only thing that's out there. We know how this works. Yeah, and I mean, there's a few things that we've obviously seen in the feedback. One of the first things that was often mentioned was just kind of like scamming, griefing, these negative sides, which partially can be addressed and can be made harder. But at the end of the day, it's kind of always been a part of this universe.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, hopefully just
it's always a hard thing to balance, giving players more freedom and preventing griefing.
Yeah. Well, okay, but what about like next steps, future stuff? Are we? I'm trying to get some leaks here. I'm trying to get some alpha. I'm trying to get something on where do we like? Is there something that you in particular would like to see added
Sure.
as a condition and therefore create around it?
Yeah. So obviously we're delivering Deliver Item today, and next one will be at least I want it to be Destroy Capsuleer. So like something as a bounty system.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I remember, like back in 2004 and 5, and I'm just gonna name drop. Tank CEO was on every single billboard there, and I was like 14, and I was afraid. I really wanted to find this guy, but I knew I'd probably die because I was in a frigate, and he had probably like an 80 million bounty. It was like insane, and I miss that. I miss the villains of Eve. We need more villains, people. That's what we need.
I agree.
No, okay, but that sounds like a seriously cool thing, and I've seen a lot of discussion on this, and that was actually something like just day one, going to through the Reddits or the forums or something like that people are kind of hypothesizing about how they could potentially create the bounty system with what they had already.
Yeah. So what is there already is only damage Capsuleer.
Yeah.
So the condition is just to damage, not destroy. But we then figured out that this can be abused pretty heavily.
Yep.
By like, let's say a corporation sets up.
I can shoot my friend.
Yeah. You can shoot your friend and get money basically for your own bounty. And until we add ACLs into freelance jobs, this is gonna keep happening. But as an intermediary step between the ACLs and this, we want to add the Destroy Capsuleer's contribution method. That will be much harder to grief. And especially if we, for example, add payment based on the percentual value of the ship. So even if you use alts and destroy your own alts ship, you will not be able to get the full amount of money that you paid for the ship.
Yeah.
So then it will become less profitable to grief.
Yeah. Absolutely. I am all for this. One of the things also that I kind of look forward to seeing now is whether if by having this broader kind of option of like the deliver items and such, if we will be able to see the coalitions of alliances, for example, in null or in low, where you might have industrial corps or such, like not necessarily the ones running the stations or taking care of the fleets or such, that if now with this change, the freelance jobs potentially become a, well, sure, anybody can accept it, but you won't be able to enter a space because we'll blow you up kind of thing, and therefore be able to facilitate kind of an internal just system of this that can be handled in client. It doesn't need to be handled in an Excel sheet, basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's really powerful. Really.
Yeah. It's definitely something that we wanna keep watching. And one of the favorite things for me in this whole thing is also just seeing the feedback. And like we were talking about earlier when we were looking at these jobs that are being posted and are being created, and like by all means, the community keep on being creative, because we see these and we take inspiration from it, and the feedback that we're getting through all these channels is literally pushing into game design and development every single week, and it's something that, I mean, I think CCP can probably say that we just do. We try and incorporate the good ideas. There are bad ideas as well. Let's just face it, from the community, and we try and inject them. That's kind of our jobs.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
It's always so fun after a release like this, I think, because we're releasing something so new and so fun to see. Like, I don't know, as a developer, you never really know how the player's going to receive everything. So just to see, all these kind of really cool jobs, it's been, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, sweet. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap things up, before we deliver this show?
I just wanted to maybe highlight, you asked about the vision for freelance jobs.
Yep.
So the next major thing that we want to add is ACLs, like I just mentioned.
For people that are not familiar maybe with the short term, maybe.
So ACL stands for Access Control List, and it basically it will control which capsuleers or players can even see the freelance job. So hypothetically, you're a corporation and you only want your alliance to be able to participate in these freelance jobs. By that, you can only set the access to your alliance, and just like that, we have alliance projects.
Yeah, so similar to what we will see and people might know from docking rights or jump gate rights or such. Sounds though like the destroy capsule needs a ban list rather than an access list.
Yes, I mean, we
unless
can have
you give me a
both.
Control A on list of all leave players.
It works both ways. It's whitelisting and blacklisting.
Yeah. Okay, great. I think we've kind of covered it. It's an interesting topic, and it's going to be really interesting. It might sound in many ways like a small thing, but like you've been mentioning here, this opens up so many avenues that simply were closed before. And I'm glad that instead of waiting and that we're just patching this in now instead of and getting the feedback and the experience from what's been done so far. So thank you both so much for your time. Everybody that's watching or listening as well. And until next time, we'll see you just in space, I guess.